More about embrachoni so ha age for text album. I mean 7 years need to be exum. Fast forward in political story. Na menoka say a year ministerial reshuffle be etimi akoso. Na a year Oman President Mahama etimi anonymity a year Dr. Zenator Rawlings say ono and a CCA a year environmental science and technology ono. Onko na onko som se ono ene ye minister ba onia eno so akoye en gisem kese ede ama ye Zenator Rawlings a onia enye asem koto akra na reshuffle no defense wa point bi ye bebo awuram na ya
News. President Mahama, per the dictate of Article 78, Clause 1, has submitted some names to Parliament in relation to fresh appointments to 2 portfolios and then a reshuffle of some ministers as well. Not a great list, but a list nonetheless in terms of, when I say great, I mean the numbers, right? But amongst many other things, the majority leader in Parliament is headed for a ministerial position under this present administration. I'm going to take you to the board right now and bring you details as to the statement that's just been released by the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, who has been providing a bit more in terms of details for us this afternoon. We're going to go straight to it right now, this afternoon. And quickly, in relation to what the statement says, that President John Dramani Mahama has, in accordance with Article 78, submitted the names of the following to Parliament through the Speaker for prior approval as Ministers of State. 2 ministries which we're going to be getting replacement for, as well as a reshuffle of some sort. Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Zenator Rawlings is headed for that ministry as its substantive minister. That's the latest from the government. She will undergo parliamentary vetting, and so will the majority leader in Parliament as well, Mahama Ayariga, because he is to take over the place of Ahmed Ibrahim as a Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Mahama Ayariga, who is the majority leader of Parliament presently, is headed for the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. He as well will undergo parliamentary vetting pretty shortly. Then the President has reassigned the following ministers to the corresponding portfolios. Ministry of Defense, we're getting a substantive minister after a year. Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J. He was a deputy minister for Defense under President Mahama's first term. He is returning to the portfolio as a substantive minister. And then Ahmed Ibrahim, who has been the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, is going straight for Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J's position now as the Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. And the both of them, who are being reassigned, will not go through a parliamentary vetting because they've already been vetted for a ministerial position. And so they will, I'm expecting with immediate effect as well, assume those specific roles and begin acting in accordance. But with the first 2, Dr. Zenator Rawlings, who's a member of Parliament for Kole Klote, will undergo parliamentary vetting when the House does return somewhere September thereabout. Then, the majority leader, when the House returns, there will be an election of some sort for him, for his replacement, right? But he will as well undergo a parliamentary vetting and now become a minister for local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs. By that alone, there is a vacancy in the majority leader position in Parliament, and so the expectation is that the NDC caucus, both in Parliament and then national leadership, will begin working around to find a replacement for who becomes majority leader in Parliament, right? That's the Boku Central MP, Mahama Ayariga, who is now headed towards the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. That's the latest from the quarters of government. 1 year, right? And just this morning, there were conversations as well in relation to possible replacement a year on, amongst other things. Well, the consensus of the conversation would suggest that the president waited for a year with respect or paying respect to the gallant aides, particularly the two ministers of state, Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, who was the Minister for Defense, and as well as Prof, right? Dr. Murtala Mohammed, who was the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. They have replacements now, and that is what you're seeing on your screens as well. Dr. Zenator Rawlings, who, by the way, Justice Atuguba was speaking at a parliamentary event about some weeks ago and was asking questions as to why she had not been given a ministerial position, as to whether or not that made any influence the conversations. You and I both cannot tell. But they were commenting that regard just a few weeks ago, a former justice of the Supreme Court asking questions as to why she had not been made a minister just as yet under this administration. Well, she is a minister now, pending the approval of Parliament. Well, you could work the math, right? With an overwhelming majority, it presupposes she is almost in the ministry and will be the next minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Then as well will be Mahama Yariga, right? That's him. He is the present majority leader in Parliament. In fact, at the last time of check, when the House was going on recess, he wasn't present in the House. It was the Deputy Majority Leader, Ricketts, who gave that closing address on his behalf, and he is now headed towards the Ministry for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. This is currently the Minister for Works and Housing, right? It's Water, Sanitation, Resources, Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J. He is headed towards the Ministry of Defense. He was Deputy Minister of Defense under President Mahama's first term. He was a Deputy Minister. And in fact, in the lead up to the conversations, there were suggestions that he would have gone back to that ministry, but he got a substantive role under the administration as the Minister for Works and Housing and Water Resources. He is returning to the Defense Ministry, this time not as a deputy, but as a substantive minister, a year on, and will take up the position. And I mentioned, remember, that because he underwent vetting already to become the Minister for Works and Housing, the expectation is that he will assume office straight and will not need parliamentary approval as well. And so, with immediate effect, really, he is the Minister for Defense. Then, Ahmed Ibrahim, who was the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, now will replace or will take over the slot as Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. He's replacing Kenneth Gilbert J. as the Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources as well. That's the breaking news that's just coming through right now for you here on News Central. A ministerial reshuffle as well as fresh appointments to positions by the Mahama administration, the Minister for Government Communication, Felix Kwatiofosu. That statement just came out a short while ago, and we have the details for you right now here.
We were the first to break this news on radio earlier today when you were on with us. You heard it. You got to the party and the family. Have you been able to speak to the family? How are they doing as we speak?
Well, yes. I mean, as a party, we got in touch with them, our regional secretariat, quickly through the regional minister and other party. Every week, we got in touch to make sure that they share their pain with them. I mean, it's that, like I actually said, this is not what we are expecting. I mean, it is Allah who will it. And then we'll try and support them as a party. You know, the family are people that we cherish a lot. We look at late Honorable Murtala's family. It's a family that we cherish. We appreciate them as a party and in government as well. we appreciate them a lot. I mean, so when things of this nature happens to them, it happens to all of us. That is what it means. I mean, so we are together with them, and
Right.
so the party is with them on this matter.
Okay, thank you. Now, stay with me because I'm going to the next issue, which I'll need your thoughts on. And all is set, and that's coming up next. All is set for the new Patriotic Party-led demonstrations to take place in the capital tomorrow. The party is accusing the government, led by the NDC, of human rights abuses and what it says is selective justice, and also the actions threatened the democracy as a country that we're enjoying. And that's the MPP assuring members and also supporters that its planned demonstration scheduled for tomorrow, August 8th, will happen with heavy security detail. Addressing the press to outline the plans for the protest, National Organizer Henry Nabuachi said the party is fighting against selective justice and what them are the increasing criminalization of free speech. Take a look.
The demonstration will commence at 5 a.m. We will start to gather momentum just in front of the Supreme Court, the community center there, the space just opposite the Supreme Court. We will walk through the Moving Peak Ambassador Hotel Road. We will use the Efua Sunderland Ridge roundabout. We will continue towards the Akwaje interchange, and we will terminate at the main entrance of Jubilee House. We shall present 3 petitions. The first will be at the Supreme Court, second at the presidency, and the third, we will also send our leadership in Parliament with some elders of the party to send a petition to Parliament as well. We expect a massive, massive, massive turnout. We are being told that some people will be sponsored to come and cause problems, to foment trouble, to cause mayhem. You will be arrested and you will face the law. The official attire is black and red, or you can combine both. It will interest you to note that under President Mahama, we have witnessed what we will describe as the wanton suppression and criminalization of free speech. And it's a shame that President Mahama will be superintending over such suppression. It is becoming alarming and it's becoming frightening. Today, under your watch, we can count as many as 40.
Well, so that's Henry Nabuachi there. But Rashid Tanko Computer, why do you raise issues with this demonstration taking place tomorrow? The party says regardless of what you're doing as the NDC or government, they have the right to still demonstrate.
A group of insensitive people.
Why is that?
Who are not sensitive to the plight of the deceased family of the 8 gallant men who died in action. They are insensitive. Our culture and tradition, upholds what they are trying to do tomorrow. We must face it and tell them in their faces. Look, when this thing happened last year, 6th August, they were there, sharing tears with us, mourning with us, not knowing that they were sharing crocodile tears.
Is that what you think was happening?
Don't we have 1 year anniversary when we lose our loved ones? Don't we celebrate it? It's part of our culture and tradition. We do what we call 1 week. When we lose our loved one, we celebrate 1 week. After 1 week, the family sit down and then come out with a date to now do the final funeral rite. After the final funeral rite, we have what we call 1 year anniversary. We gather together and then pray for the deceased. The state has organized a program, a lineup activity. In fact, indeed, it started yesterday, where we had a lecture at Burma camp. The military high command, the vice president represented the president at the function. I was there myself. They had lecture about their life. These 8 gallant men. Tomorrow is going to be an interdenominational prayer scheduled at UPSC for us to go and pray for these 8 gallant men, pray for their souls, because 6th August is a solemn day for this country. for losing such 8 officers of the state who died in action. And in the evening, we are going to hold another program at Defense Ministry of Defense to unveil a bust over there on behalf of my boss, my former boss. Then MPP will go and organize a demonstration on that day, which is tomorrow. How will you describe people like that?
Well, they say that they've just issued a statement right now under the signature of the General Secretary of the party. They say grief has no party colors, and that the MPP will join the government, the Ghana Armed Forces, the bereaved families, and all Ghanaians in mourning and in tribute. Those who perished included senior figures of the governing party. They say without reservation, their deaths were a loss to the whole republic, and their families' grief is Ghana's grief. They commend every Ghanaian taking part in this week's activities, and they encourage participation in the nationwide blood donation exercise, a fitting and life-giving tribute. They must also remember why they were in the air that morning. They say that how they died is why they are even going for this protest tomorrow, and that they were flying to Obuasi in the service of a national mission, the fight against illegal mining and the destruction of our lands and rivers. They did not die at rest. They died at work in pursuit of a cause the whole nation has declared urgent. And they say that even after their death, Galamsey is ongoing. And so that's the reason why it even strengthens their resolve to be on the streets tomorrow. Mr. Tango.
This is a Trojan horse statement. You know the Trojan horse?
What do you mean?
But read it. Can't you see the hypocritical nature of the statement? When we started raising this matter, that they quickly went and drafted this one. Ignore it with the contempt it deserves. If you I've asked one of them this afternoon, assuming your father was one of them, will you go and demonstrate tomorrow? Will you go about doing demonstration? Is that what our culture told us to do? Why save August? That's why I describe them as a group of insensitive people. Because if you are sensitive in nature to the bereaved family, all of them, the bereaved family tomorrow are going to be there to be grieving for the loss of their beloved ones. And you are there. You'll be there chanting on the street. You'll be there chanting on the street. You've gone there around hiring people. The last time you did that at Ioko, you went and hired people and gave them 150 Ghana cedis.
We in some horo tim koso channel so mami enal so jemre da sane so wadi dia do mer meni unia ebishia na gasmo kwanson so